Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 63 with Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
And I'm Weston Pugh, and we have a great show today. We've got
started off really well.
It did. We were having a discussion about a movie, and I may or may not have gotten it incorrectly and got 3 snapped by Ceci. So thanks for keeping it real over there, Ceci. God, Well, so this is a great season because it's all about the holidays, and this is the last episode that we have before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm, yep.
What are you going to do for Thanksgiving?
I have 2 parties to go to that day. I've got a brunch to go to that I'll have enough time to recover from, I think. And then I have a dinner to go to, a family dinner to go to.
Interesting.
So,
well, my sister informed me that I was going to be in charge of Thanksgiving for her family and my mom, so we're having salmon, and I hope you all enjoy that.
Salmon at Thanksgiving.
And speaking of mom, it's very exciting because, fun fact of the day, Jeff Updike and my mom both share the same birthday.
We do.
It's quite interesting.
And it's on Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah. So February, rewind that. November the 28th is Thanksgiving, and Jeff and my mom have birthdays, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's awesome. All right, let's get started on this. Okay. So today we put together the show, and we were lucky because we were able to see what was online, and it kind of synced up. And we ended up with going into high-rises, and it's a great show because we're going to look at 3 different areas with high-rises in Dallas.
There are 3 different ages
Yep.
of high-rises. They're really, like you said, 3 different areas, and I think 3, really pretty different styles. Yep. I mean, they're a lot of people I think that high-rises have to be like old and curmudgeon-y, and they really don't. These are 3 examples of really well done, well renovated, modernized homes.
And the first one is going to be 3310
Fairmount Street.
Don't say it incorrectly, as Jeff has pointed out. Penthouse 1A.
Yep.
And this is a great area.
It really is. This is it's adjacent to the Katy Trail. You have really great access to that. And if you get on the Katy Trail and you are on any kind of bicycle or anything like that, they do not allow the scooters on the Katy Trail.
Correct.
So, but you can be down at American Airlines Center in a matter of minutes. You can be all the way up at Knox Henderson. It's another one of those connectors that can get you all the way out to White Rock Lake. So if you're a cyclist, then it's just heaven.
It is a really great area, and one of the interesting things about the way that this actual penthouse sits on the corner of the building is that you actually are going to get to see where the on Turtle Creek, that big building was demoed, and now they're about to build a 26-story.
Yeah, I think it's a 26-story tower there.
So a really cool aspect of elements that you don't always get to see when you're just driving around in your car.
Yeah, and this is an absolutely spectacular home that was renovated by designer Philip Jones in 2015, and he did just a phenomenal job on this. You walk into it, and this is the dramatic 270-degree view that you have from this from the living room.
And it opens up, and the way that it goes, this would be more of the daytime shot, and this is the kitchen. And the kitchen was amazingly put together, really long bar. They've done a really good job of keeping everything just nice and clean because you are so incorporated into the living room itself that if it got too cumbersome with cabinets and whatnot, it might feel a little bit odd, but really amazing layout on this.
And this is a little closer view to that corner of the building where you can step out on the balcony, and it's kind of set up as the dining area. They had a really interesting piece of art on the window there, and so that is not an imperfection in the slide, but really a magnificent view.
It is incredible. And then this looks back down into the kitchen. And what we see here is I love this wine fridge there on the left-hand side. Great flow. And then this also is a way that it pitches out back into the living room. And you can see how those windows are floor to ceiling. And they just kind of get that inside-outside set up so well.
Yep, stepping back over into the dining room area, this would be your view back in toward the kitchen. Really large space. The walls in this are almost museum finish, if
Correct.
I'm not mistaken. Great lighting, really situated nicely on the corner of the building.
And then what happens is we have 3 bedrooms, and this first bedroom that we're going to take a look at has floor-to-ceiling windows and the automatic shades that come down, and it's just amazing. You can see that is one of the only bedrooms that has a structure piece in it, and they've done a really good job of making it not stand out too terribly much. And it does transition into a really great and renovated bathroom, and this is the half bath. That they've done really good job of keeping the elements not too in your face, because they're trying to keep that low modern feel that they've done a great job here.
Yeah, and these mirrors that are offset from the wall just a smidge, the small 2x2 tile that they used in the backsplash really kind of just lends itself to be containing that, keeping that modern feel going throughout.
And this is the master, and the master opens up onto its own private little balcony. And again, it has floor-to-ceiling windows, and it is perfectly laid out. One of the things that I love the most about this is that the door is actually sliding. It's at the end of the hall, and when that door is closed, it looks like the wall is right there.
Yeah. There's also another guest room, and I think this is the guest room that is in the middle of those two, the first room and the master bedroom, and again opens to the north. You have access out to the balcony there. Did we calculate the balcony space on this one?
Not on this one. It was it had the 200 and something degree
270 degree view. Here's the master bath with the architectural tub that's in there. Off to the right is the shower stall that again carries that 2x2 tile in with it and just kind of keeps that same flow going on throughout the unit.
And this is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It does have a 2-car garage, so it's 2 car parking spaces. Almost 3,000 square feet, and it comes in at $849, which is $297 a square foot, and it is truly an amazing place.
Yes, and we'd like to say thank you to Patty Brooks for letting us talk about her home today.
Wonderful home. So the next one that we're going to move over to is going to be 1999 Mckinney Avenue, Unit 403.
Yeah, this is an amazing building. I watched this building be built.
You did?
Yeah, and it is just, it was one of those really front runners in the uptown area in terms of being able to own a piece of property down there.
Because it was like at the beginning of when that was all happening.
Yeah,
So
this was pre Ritz-Carlton, post Crescent, which was kind of the one,
began the anchor.
Yeah, kind of the anchor building for the uptown area.
And one of the things about this area is that you are able to, from this, walk over to the Clyde Warren Park, to the Dallas Museum of Arts, and everything that is there, whether it's the Wiley or it's the Nasher. You can also catch the, there's a little pickup for the trolley right outside. So it can take you up into West Village or take you all the way into downtown. It is probably one of the most centrally located little spaces in uptown. I wouldn't say that it was that way probably 3 years ago, but I think that it's turned the corner so much down there with the growth that it's really amazing now.
Yeah, it really is. Jumping into the pictures on this unit, you walk into this home and I'm sorry, this is actually the lobby entrance. And I will have to say the experience in the lobby with the concierge in this building was spot on.
They were ready for us, which is amazing.
Yes, a lot of times when you go into a high-rise building, you feel more like an inquisition is about to occur, but we walked into this one and it was such an amazing experience. We got access to the unit right away. Here's a picture of the kitchen with the traditional floor plan that everybody likes, with the granite countertops facing out toward the living area. One of the cool things about this building is it is that true loft feel where you have the exposed concrete, the exposed beams, you have the exposed air ducts, and it just really it feels like a true loft.
Yep. And one of the other things that is a telltale about 1999 Mckinney is that when you go past the living room and you open up into this really large living space that has these huge walls, and in the next image we're going to see, you're going to really get to feel how large that feels. And again, it continues with that urban feel. But we've seen some of the more recent ones where they've actually taken and kind of like brought that down just a little bit. And if you want to keep it in this urban vibe, stays there and it's true to it. But you can also kind of change the feel just a little bit if you wanted to.
Yeah, and being up on the fourth floor, you've got really great light on the balcony out there. You step out, you have a little bit of city noise, but it's really a great feeling.
So as you go upstairs, this will take you to a floating staircase that goes up, and then that first little area right there can be transformed into multiple different things. And right now, they're just using it as a small second living space, but we've seen this used also for TV, for an office. It just works so well because the natural light in this unit, or basically in all these units, is amazing, and it doesn't feel dark or just one of those hard places to live in.
Right. And this transitions back. This second floor is almost entirely the master bedroom or the master floor.
Suite.
Yeah. So you got a really big open space here. Again, continuing with the loft feel where you have the exposed concrete walls along with the exposed fire suppression equipment. It's just a true loft field all the way through. And then your windows on that bedroom look out over the pool.
So we wanted to come back down to the living room, and they've done a really great job of creating a covered balcony. So you have a little more indoor-outdoor space that's livable. And as you can see, you have some really amazing views. It just is one of those rare finds that you get inside of the Uptown market.
Yeah, and this unit does come with two oversized parking spaces in the garage. The building has really great guest parking. And again, they work very hard to create some really cool common spaces in this building.
Yep. This one, the pool is what we're going to look at next. And this pool is actually also on the fourth level. So if you're one of those that likes to really enjoy a swim before bed or get it first thing in the morning, you can see this one has the hot tub, the Ipe flooring, and it has seating at the end. So they've done everything that you want. We don't have an image of it, but on the other side, there's multiple seating areas for dining. Great property.
1999 McKinney Avenue, number 403. Again, one of my favorite buildings. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2-car garage, 2,500 square feet, priced at $799.9, and that brings it in about $315 a square foot, which is a great value for that building.
Absolutely. And we want to say thank you so much to Mary Beth Harrison for letting us feature your home.
Thank you, Mary Beth.
Wonderful home. So we're going to jump now over to one of the newer ones that we have, and this is going to be 1717 Arts.
1717 Arts Plaza.
And this is 1906, and this is a very special building. And you said, I saw the last one being built. Well, I actually lived in Dallas and saw this one being built. And this one is one of the frontiers like Mckinney in the area of Dallas that it built itself in.
Yeah, it's really one of the, probably, I would say this is like a tier 1 luxury building.
Absolutely. Along
lines with Museum Tower, the Ritz-Carlton. It's just one of those buildings that's going to attract a certain price point of buyer.
Someone that really appreciates what the amenities are here. This is one of those buildings that has that landmark orange or red, whichever way your eyes see it, square that's on the very top. And it was one of those buildings that was built, and like you were saying, it was the catalyst that brought in those other high rises into the downtown market. So this one is one of the ones that started, and there's restaurants that are at the base of it. I believe there was also a Herman Miller store at the bottom for a time being. It really has an amazing feel. And if you're looking to walk, you can walk to all of the arts down Florida Street.
And when this building was built, it was the headquarters for 7-Eleven.
It sure was.
And so it has an amazing 7-Eleven store in it that everything is almost always perfect.
You will never see a 7-Eleven quite like that one there. This one was a real treasure to actually get to access to. It is owned by an interior designer and never missed a beat. And this is an image from us looking from the hallway in. And you can see that as you turn the corner, there's a small seating area. Rothko-inspired art there on the right-hand side, and there's just a different level of amenities.
Yeah, and you step around the corner. This is the guest room. They've done a really great job with having the glass above the wall, so you still get some really good natural light, even though this is an interior bedroom. The surfaces that she has in this home are just absolutely amazing.
Yep, that was Kelly Wersler wallpaper, and this is actually doubles as both the full bath for that and also for that the bathroom that is for guests. And you can see again in here what we're looking at. I believe on one of the walls it's not here, but is Venetian plaster, and then this is 12 by 12 tiles that are floor to ceiling. Just never misses a beat.
Step around the corner and you get to see the complete wall of glass there that looks out to the east, and it has such an amazing unobstructed view, especially since you're on the 19th floor. You really have nothing out that direction that blocks any of your view.
And this is actually a bullthap kitchen cabinets, and then you also have sub-zero appliances. And the way that it integrates into this full living area with the granite or the quartzite is amazing. Waterfall edges, and again, it's just an effortless. And I have to say that the floor plan really provided the perfect backdrop for this designer.
Yeah, it really did. She really chose surfaces, finishes that went very well together. It has a lot of vibrancy to it, and it's not just with like her art. She has an amazing collection of art, but it's really how it all fits together that brings such richness to it.
And this is the image that we have of her personal bedroom, and this actually opens up again to this outdoor patio that's also amazing. One of the things that we loved about this is she took the floor to ceiling shears all the way up and really exaggerated also the canopy of the bed, that just kind of created a very intimate yet exaggerated bedroom.
This is the master bath with the double vanity, again solid surface countertops, the architectural tub that is separate from the shower, and then this, the floating cabinetry that she chose just really works well, and she has done an amazing job with the closet.
And then we're going to go ahead, and this is, like Jeff said, from this little ladder that they have to the built-ins, it is an impeccable closet. But then once we also take and we'll look at the outdoor space, the outdoor space is 37 by I think 11 and a half. And this is one end of it that they were able to kind of create off of the master. And this is just a small dining area. And again, when you're this high up on the 19th floor, you really have a view of so much of Dallas and so much that's going on in Deep Ellum and whatnot.
Yeah, and we're going to circle back around and look down to the other direction, which would give you access to the main patio that is off of the living room. And again, it's just done very, very well, even especially with the shrubbery that she's brought up. It really provides a lot of life and just some extra color up there that you don't always get being, up in a high rise.
And one of the things that we also wanted to highlight on this one is just the amenity level that this is. And this is the actual clubhouse that's available to residents for hosting gatherings or just going in and relaxing. And you can see these amazing views. And this would be the workout facility. Who wouldn't want to work out up here? Amazing views both in the evenings and sometimes probably when it's cloudy.
Yep, and here's a picture of the pool that all of these amenities are on the rooftop. You can see to the right there that you also have some exterior living space with outdoor cooking. So 1717 Arts Plaza, number 1906, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage parking, a little over 1,700 square feet, priced at $899, which for a luxury building brings it in at $505 a square foot. And we want to say thank you to Emily Ray Porter for letting us talk about her home today.
It's an amazing home.
Yeah.
Such a good job.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that because I do think people get kind of stuck in their mind about what high rises have to offer. And this is a really good example of what people I don't think see sometimes.
I don't think they do either. And this is, as you said, a really great cross section.
Yep.
If you'll come back after we come back from this commercial, we're going to talk about HOAs, and we thought it was kind of timely given the fact that all of these buildings have HOAs, and talk about some of the tips that you should know about before you purchase.
So we'll be right back. There are lots of ways to keep up with us. Visit and like our Facebook page to watch us live and get updates about future show topics. Also, visit our Instagram page where you can see the latest homes that we have for sale. You can also check out our website at updikepugh.com, where you can create customized searches of active and sold homes that you find of interest. If you're interested in how much your home is worth, visit homeprice.fyi and you can get a price instantly. Just enter your address and a couple of pieces of information about your home and we will email you a price. Last of all, you can reach out to us by phone or text at 214-377-2223. And welcome back to Sold with Updike Pugh and episode 63.
I'm Weston Pugh.
And today we are going to talk about living in and living with a homeowners association.
Yep, there is quite a bit of that goes on with this.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about 3 high-rises earlier, and we thought it was a great transition into HOAs.
Yeah.
And kind of want to look at it. There's a couple of different aspects. A lot of times people have loans, and therefore their lenders will actually ask for the homeowners association certificate, but in case you're a cash buyer, you don't always know that this is something that you might need to have filled out.
Yeah, and many times when a lender is involved in purchasing a home, a condominium, then they're going to have what is called a condo questionnaire, and they all kind of have them in their own forms, but they all really follow the same pattern and have roughly the same questions in them.
Yep, and so we kind of took this and broke it down into segments so that we can kind of group what they're after and then go over why they're looking at that and then why it could be important to you. And so one of the first things that we looked at is HOAs and where they are in their life cycle, whether they're just forming and whatnot. So tell us a little bit about why that might be important to you as a cash buyer or to a lender.
Well, I think, to lenders, they, like you said, they want to know where this homeowners association is in its life cycle. Is it something that has just started, or is it something that has been, operating for a few years, or, has it been going on for a long time? I think we had, in our earlier segment, we had examples of something that was built in the 60s, something that was built in 2000, and then something that was built, 15 years later.
Correct.
And it's important to a lender to know that because if, once a condominium complex reaches a certain age, they might have, money in the kitty, but they need to know where that's going to be spent. Whereas if it's a brand new complex, they might have a little bit of money in the kitty, but they might be budgeting. So it's just a lot of the preliminary questions really are just for that lender to kind of figure out, okay, where are we with this one?
And a lot of times they also want to know in this, what they're trying to figure out is who's on the board and how important it is, like who's making decisions.
Yes.
And that is indicative of, is it a new or is it a matured development condo?
And one of the questions in this also talks about whether it was a rehab property.
Right.
If it was something that was previously an apartment complex and is now being converted into condominiums, they want to make sure that they're not someone that, or it's not a complex that has just had an exterior renovation done on it and none of the core components have been touched.
Right. Well, the next thing that we kind of were able to look at this condo questionnaire and kind of zero in was there's a lot of questions that pertain to occupancy and who's living in the house. And I think you have a really good take on why this is so critical for buyers and for even the cash buyer.
Yeah, the one of the things I'll say about kind of the topics that we're talking about today are really important things for anyone that is involved in a homeowners association to stay in touch with. Owner occupancy is a big issue when it comes to lending, and while you may be a cash buyer on the property, the next buyer may not be. And so if you're buying into something that is a 50% owner occupancy, you really need to know that because I think it affects the value.
Absolutely. And the other thing too is, do they have limitations on whether you can lease? How many leases are allowed in these properties? And like Jeff said, we all need to know this because when you get ready to sell it, there will be different people who are not in your same boat paying cash and will need to know that you can get their money out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people look at condominiums initially because you can get a lot for your money with condominiums, and it makes a very good first time home buyer purchase, and then it's a lot of people's first step off into becoming an investor, where they know that they've bought something, they live in it for 4 or 5 years, and then they decide they're ready to move to, let's say, a single family home. They'll hold on to that condo and keep it as a rental.
We've seen that a lot.
We've seen that quite a bit, but there is a point where if you get more than, 70%, you get less than 70% of the people that are owners, then they look at it differently.
And it begins to change the value. And so you who were picking up all these units at a really great price, all of a sudden it might really change the way everything goes as far as an investment standpoint. Well, Jeff's got a little cough, but we'll be right back.
Sorry.
One of the other things that we wanted to talk about in this and that we see that gets zeroed out is talking about the finances and the health of what they're doing with the money and when they accrue it and how they're spending it.
Yeah. The most lenders are going to require the homeowners association to provide a budget to them, and many times that budget has to reflect that the homeowners association, there's two things that lenders looking for. One is that the HOA has enough money to cover what are considered to be, the long-term expenses, the capital things that are buildings going to need over a 5-year period, or that they're budgeting to put 10% of their annual expenses into the reserve account. And so they want to make sure that the condo's not operating on a shoestring.
Exactly, and that the money is being spent, and that there's not money that's being siphoned off somewhere, especially if it's a self-managed or self-governed HOA.
Right.
So these are really important questions. One of the things that's near and dear to my heart is insurance, because I don't think that so many times we don't realize what all is involved in these HOAs when it comes to the insurance and what that coverage actually means, and how do they determine what their limits are. And this is one of those things that I believe that after the fire that happened on Northwest Highway, a lot of the lenders have really changed. I know that for visiting with some of the other HOA companies in Dallas, that they have completely changed and gone through and now do a much more detailed look at what the insurance policies are, and have really started to encourage people to purchase more. And I know for a fact that one of the companies actually, Worth Ross, was able to help one of the groups on Royal Lane that they just picked up and increased their limits. And it was right before their tornado came through, and because they had to increase those limits, they were in a good setup versus what could have really been a very tough time. Yeah,
and you know firsthand, it's a rough situation to be in when you are underinsured, and I'm afraid that that's probably what's going to be a challenge for some people right now after all the tornadoes we've just had. But fortunately, there are people out there also that have been kind of pushing HOAs to reevaluate their coverage after some of the things that have happened over the last several years.
Yep, I would say that there are those two big elements that have come through with the fire and then also with that tornado, that I would say that it has been probably the two big indicators that have really changed the way condos are insured right now.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of other things that they ask for on this condo questionnaire, but we've kind of grouped them basically into the larger categories.
Yeah, there's really, it really boils down to these condo questionnaires are really, does the property meet Fannie Mae guidelines? Because most lenders are generating loans to generate income on origination. So they want to be able to have a market to sell these loans on, and this is one way to do that, is to make sure it meets the guidelines that Fannie Mae set.
Yep. Well, we hope that was helpful, and we hope that it kind of dovetailed easily into the high rises that we brought in.
Yep.
We really appreciate everyone tuning in. We do have some good news about the show and where it's headed.
That's right. Starting in January, we are going to be Wednesdays at 11:30 a.m.
So you'll be able to watch us while you have lunch. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
Well, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
We'll see you again. And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.